And here's verse 15 of chapter 15 of Mark. Wishing to please the crowd. Wishing to please the crowd. He released Barabbas, had Jesus scourged and crucified.
Well, as we close out here today, we were talking before we went on the air about what a chaotic time this is, especially for people who are really wired for truth. I was just talking with somebody, I think it was yesterday, where they know someone who's just gone really reclusive because they just don't know how to cope with this abandonment of truth, and everything is so chaotic is really the word. So I wonder, what you have so much wisdom. I've just loved this conversation.
Thank you.
Yeah, we should call it like fireside with Greg, just if there was a fireplace here,
Yeah,
just glean
right,
from your
right.
wisdom. But what wisdom would you leave anybody who might be listening to this or watching this, who's feeling really overwhelmed with just this onslaught of chaos coming from relativism?
Well, I'm flattered by your comments. I actually don't feel very wise in this circumstance because I identify with people who are experiencing that sense of being overwhelmed with everything. All right. And more and more what I'm thinking now is not so much in terms of how can I think of persuasive ways to engage culture, to get them thinking? I mean, it's a lot of what we do at Stand to Reason. The Tactics book is there. I'm writing another book right now called Street Smarts. That's kind of an offshoot of Tactics to help people maneuver more in these difficult times. But a big part of what I'm thinking now, and as I get older, this is more and more I don't know, relevant to me. It's always been relevant, but it's more central to me. We have an audience of one to please.
That's right.
Not everybody else in the world. And it may turn out that whatever we say, how graciously or thoughtfully we put it, people are just going to spit in our face, whether metaphorically or actually. And okay, so then the important thing is the audience of one, being faithful, standing firm. I think of Martin Luther, here I stand, I can do no other. And many others in history that are unsung heroes of the faith who did that. A couple years ago, all of these dear Christian men who were beheaded on the beach there in the Middle East by Muslims. And all they had to do was recant. And we had one of our speakers had some association with that group when he went to the Middle East and was doing some teaching with the families, indirectly with the families. And he learned that the families were praying for the lives of their sons and their husbands and their brothers until they realized that the only way they would survive is if they recanted. And then they were praying that they wouldn't recant. Which is essentially sealing their death but in their prayer, which is what happened. They didn't recant, but that was the price that they paid. And I don't think we're going to pay that price here, frankly. However, you never know. We're paying a much steeper price than we ever used to pay. But I want you to think, Alisa, and also for your viewers, I want you to think about this passage. It's easy to remember. Gospel of Mark, chapter 15, verse 15. So it's Mark 15:15. Okay. Now here's where Jesus it's the end of the gospel. So it's on the Passion. He's actually with Pilate, being tried by Pilate, and Pilate doesn't want to convict him because he knows he's innocent. And he knows that the Jews are, they're all worked up because they're envious about Jesus and whatever. And his wife has been telling him, leave this Jesus guy alone, but he doesn't know how to get out of this. So he offers the release of one of the prisoners, and Barabbas is an option and Jesus is an option. And he's thinking, well, maybe they'll go for Jesus. Now, Pharisees worked up the crowd to ask for Barabbas, and that's who they ask for. And then he says, what do I do with Jesus? And they said, crucify him. And here's verse 15 of chapter 15 of Mark. Wishing to please the crowd. Wishing to please the crowd. He released Barabbas, had Jesus scourged and crucified. And I never want to be on Pilate's side. But so much of Christendom seems to be going that direction, that they are siding with the villain or the villains, as the case may be, and they are turning their back on the Savior. When I die, I want to hear these words. well done, good and faithful servant. I do not want to be the one who, wishing to please the crowd, betrayed my Savior. I want to be the one who hears from the only one who matters, well done. And so my encouragement to Christians are, get your apologetics squared away, get your theology squared away, get your understanding of why the Bible teaches these things you can rely on, do everything you can. But when push comes to shove, your attitude is, here I stand, I can do no other.
Yeah.